do I have to form the production company in the same state that I live in? Who says yes? No? Oh, good, okay. No, you don't. You're not required under state or federal law to form a company in the same state you reside in. So even though you all are in California, you're free to form your company in any of the 50 states. Oh. Also, every year the State Business Index, which is a nationally known legal index of the best and worst states to form a limited liability company in, the new index just came out, and they released the 5 worst states to form a limited liability company in, and the 5 best states to form a limited liability company in. In terms of the 5 worst states to form a limited liability company in, they were Rhode Island, New Jersey, New York, Vermont, and your state, California. In terms of the best states to form a limited liability company in, the top states were actually Wyoming, Nevada, South Dakota, Florida, and Alaska. So I also want to just talk a little briefly about Nevada and Delaware, because I'm sure a lot of you have heard about, people forming companies in Delaware. Delaware is a hugely popular state for people forming new companies, and so is Nevada. Those are probably the 2 most popular states in terms of people forming production companies and companies in general. And why they are so popular, number one for Nevada, Nevada does not impose any taxes on companies. So your company will be tax-free if you do form it in Nevada. Another key advantage for forming in Nevada is privacy. So let's say I form a limited liability company with everybody in this front row. The 7 of us, we form a production company. In Nevada, we do not have to reveal the names, all 7 names of who's forming this company. So Nevada allows for a lot of privacy in the state if you don't want to reveal your identity in regards to your company. And also, Nevada is the only state that has a requirement, does not have a requirement to release any information to the IRS about LLCs. All the other all the other 49 states have signed an agreement with the IRS. Whereas if the IRS comes knocking, comes looking for you, comes looking for your company, all 49 other states are required, because they have signed this agreement with the IRS, to reveal information about you, about your company. Nevada doesn't. They don't give any information to the IRS. And I'm not advising, just FYI. And in regards to Delaware, because Delaware is a hugely popular state for people forming production companies and just general LLCs, some of the advantages of forming in Delaware, Delaware has extremely low filing fees. The other thing about Delaware, they have a court system that's specifically geared towards businesses. So if any issues arise in regards to your production company, there's a court that only deals with businesses, unlike other states. And also, Delaware has a lot of privacy protection in regards to, what you have to reveal in terms of when you do file your paperwork with the state. You don't have to reveal a lot of information about yourself or any of the people involved in your limited liability company. So those are the key advantages of forming in Delaware and Nevada. But I want to spend a lot of time talking about New York and California. Have any of you thought about, forming a production company in New York at all? Oh, okay, perfect. Just a general LLC. So for those of you who are thinking about, because there are millions of production companies in New York, those of you who are thinking about forming a production company in New York, the filing fee for New York is $200. The normal processing time is 7 business days, which is pretty short. And for any of you looking for expedited services, the state of New York does offer expedited services, so you can form your production company in a quicker amount of time than 7 business days. California is a little cheaper to form your production company in. It's going to come back and bite you in the long run, which I'll get to in a second. But it only costs $70 to form a limited liability company in the state of California. It does take longer to form your company in California as opposed to New York. It usually takes about 2 months for the Secretary of State to process paperwork to form a new company. But also they do offer expedited services too, and most of their expedited services can only be taken advantage of in person in their Sacramento office. So now let's talk about domestic versus foreign LLCs. And I'm talking about foreign LLCs, I'm not talking about abroad or overseas. And this really hits home for a lot of people in the film and television industry. Because let's say that I live in California, but I form my production company in Michigan, because that's where I'm going to film my next movie. You know, they have great tax incentives. So I'm going to form my production company in Michigan, but I live in California. So I formed the company in Michigan, and wherever you form your company, that is the domestic LLC. But if I'm living in California and I still am conducting business in the state of California, let's say I'm doing casting in California, I have investors in California, there's still certain aspects of my production company taking place in California. California will be your foreign location of where you're conducting business. So where you actually form the company, that's domestic location. But if you're conducting business in any other state, those are considered foreign